Welcome back. Matt, it's great to have you on Community Champions.
It's great to be here.
I know you have had an exciting weekend and a lot of exciting things going on at LaGrange Academy in the basketball program.
Yes, we've been in the state championship game this past Saturday night. Lost by 1 point on a last-second shot, 1.4 seconds, but it was an exciting game.
It had to be a heartbreaker.
Very. It's still in my mind every day.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about you. Now, you're 25 years old.
Yes, sir.
And you've already coached for what, 2 or 3 years?
This is my second year as head coach. 5th year coaching. I was assistant coach 3 years part-time while I was at LaGrange College. I was assistant girls and boys coach and head middle school coach. And I decided to try for the head coaching job, and they gave me a chance, and so I took over the program last year. It was my first year.
And it's obviously you've done a great job. I mean, second year going to the state and just by a whisker losing the state.
We've had a great 2 years. Last year we went to the Final 8 and got beat by the state champions, Brentwood Academy, and then this year made it to the state championship game. So it was close to being state champions. We were state champions for 2 minutes.
Yeah, during the celebration, but then it died down and had to do it again.
We hit a three-pointer with 2 seconds left till we thought won it, and then they called timeout and then drew up a last-second shot and hit a game-winning
and it went
state championship game. It was a great play for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know something that's really interesting. Your father has been your assistant coach.
Yeah, he's been my assistant these past 2 years, and he's also the headmaster at LaGrange Academy this year, and that's been a blessing. He's living with me. He's my roommate, so that's been fun, too, at night, and eating with him and hanging out with him.
Yeah.
It's brought our relationship very close.
I would bet. Now he's been in the education business. He was a coach and a teacher and a principal.
He was coach and teacher and athletic director, and then he moved to principal of Fayette County High School, and then he moved up to superintendent for 12 years, and then he went to the state and worked with Miss Rinko for about 6 years, and then he retired, and now he's at LaGrange Academy, headmaster.
I was going to ask you how you got involved in coaching and everything, but it's kind of easy to see now.
It's kind of just been in the family. My mom worked with the Board of Education and the finance department, and then Dad was superintendent and coach and all that, and I grew up playing ball, basketball, and baseball and football, so sports have been a big part of my life since I was young.
Yeah. Young, 25 is still young. We can't talk about it that way
still
now.
Young.
You've already talked a little bit about it, but tell me about this team. Tell me what's so special about them. I know they are. I had the good fortune of watching them play a lot of times, but tell me what's so special about this team.
Well, I tell you, they are a good group of boys, Christian boys that loved the game of basketball. I had the biggest compliment was after the state championship game, and a coach came up and said, "You got some good talent, but number one thing is you can tell the boys love it. And when you got kids that love what they do, they're going to have some success." And so the boys, they're aged from 8th grade to 12th grade. And you really can't tell from the 8th grader to 12th graders. They all treat each other like a family. And that's been the best part about this year's team. And it's carried over from last year's team. We had good leaders last year. Gary Grizzle graduated last year, and he's playing at Swanee this year. And he was an amazing leader, a good basketball player, but a better leader. And it's carried over to Paul Basham and Ladarius Gilbert and our seniors this year. So that's helped out a lot with this year's team.
And how many people are you losing from this team?
We lose 4 seniors. Ladarius Gilbert, our point guard, and Tony Smith, and Mark Belcher, and Paul Basham. And it's going to be a big loss, but they've instilled a great leadership for our younger boys, which will carry over for next year.
Yeah, and that's critical too, is that these guys have passed it along to somebody else.
That's right, and the leadership that they carry it carries over to the 11th graders, 10th graders, 9th graders, and 8th graders, and really I have about 3 or 4 managers that are in 6th and 7th grade, and they hang out with the seniors like they're seniors. So it carries over all through our whole school, really.
Yeah. Well, now tell me about this season. When you started practicing at the first of the year and started playing, did you ever think you'd get this far?
Well, we had a lot of people saying, well, you lost Gary Grizzle, who averaged about 25 points,
yeah.
And then we lost Tony Kazicki and Adam Cagle and Brent Evans, who all played a major role in last year's team. So it was not a rebuilding year, but almost a rebuilding year, losing 4 seniors like that. So we had a goal was to win region championship, and really we didn't talk about state that much. We just talked about region championship. We got beat last year at the buzzer to West Georgia Christian Academy. So
I was there.
it was an exciting game too, just like
was.
this year in a state championship game. But the boys set that goal out, and they worked from June 1st when we started in the summer. And we host a camp. We go to LaGrange College. We play LaGrange High, Troop High, which that helps us a lot to play the better competition. So the boys set out a goal, and they completed that goal. So
you probably wouldn't have thought you'd gotten as far as you did, though.
No, I didn't think we'd be 25-7 and state runner up. But the boys, they believed in themselves, and they thought they could do it. So and they did it.
Hey, that's fantastic. Nobody told them they couldn't.
That's
do it, right.
That's right. So.
Now, we talked a little bit about the state championship game and how it was a shot at the buzzer, and we thought we'd won. The referees huddled a little bit, decided that there was a little time left on the clock. They called a timeout or something, right? Mm-hmm. And then, so we have to go back after the celebration and get on the court. They make a long pass and make the shot.
Well, they threw, if you saw the Duke-Kentucky game in 1992, he threw a long pass to Christian Leitner, and it was an exact play. He caught up the free throw line, turned, and shot off the backboard, and that was a state championship. So it went from 1 minute we were the state champions, and everybody was on the court rushing on it, jumping on everybody, and then 1 second we were in second place. But the boys handled themselves well after that game. They could have easily got upset and yelled at refs, but they were in shock, I guess. Just tears flowing in their eyes. They were, you work so hard to get to that point, and then to really have the state championship game and then lose it is incredible.
I know, it had to be. Now, I know you and I talked a little bit about this, but you see a lot of life lessons for the kids out of this. Tell me what you think that they'll really carry away from that game after the hurt wears off.
Well, I told the boys, I didn't know what to say after the game, and I finally said, first of all, you're going to remember this game to the day you die. It's an amazing game and a great game to see, but you also learn that sometimes in life you're going to have things that don't go your way, and you got to learn to deal with that kind of stuff, and whether it's in your job or in your marriage or whatever, you have to learn to deal with that. And even though you may give 100% and feel like you deserve it, some things just don't go your way. So I feel like the boys, they acted right, and the way you act after something bad happens, people are going to watch you and see how you do it. And the boys, I told them after in the locker room, I was more proud of the way they handled themselves than I was if we'd have won the state championship.
Yeah.
It was amazing how teenage boys handled that loss.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's where you build your character. I used to say, I coached a lot when my son was growing up and everything, and I had some really good teams, and I used to tell people I worried more about the kids on the teams that never lost than the ones that had to really struggle to win.
You're exactly right. A lot of times failure or not succeeding what you want helps you. You grow, and I tell the guys a lot, Michael Jordan didn't make every game-winning shot he shot.
That's right.
He missed a lot, but everybody talks about the ones he made. But you grow from that, and you learn from it, and hope to experience it again one day later in life. I hate it for the seniors.
Yeah.
They won't be back next year, but I told them, we had a meeting this morning, and I told the boys, we're going to get it next year, and we're going to get it for these 4 seniors, for them. So.
Right. Well, now, of course, we talked about your age. You're relatively young, but you've been very successful. What's your philosophy about building a winning team, or going through the process you've gone through? How are you going to be building your teams in the future? What have you learned from this?
Well, the number one thing we push is family. Between a timeout or end of practice, middle of practice, when we come together as a team, we never say Warriors or defense or offense. We say family. And growing up with mom and dad and being part of sports, if you're a close-knit group, you're going to be successful. And the boys know that. And I tell them, not only do we want to be close here on the hardwood floor, but we want to be close during the day, at night, hang out together, and so we push to be a close knit. And then the second of all, we try to get our boys to believe in themselves, and not only themselves, but in their teammates and the coaching staff. If kids believe in themselves, they're going to do the right things. And sometimes when I like to jump them, I try to encourage them to let them know that I'm behind you. And you're supposed to mess up. If you didn't mess up, we'd win it all the time. We need to mess up sometimes. And so we push for family and to believe in yourselves every day. That is a key to our, us winning. So.
And that's an interesting philosophy. I understand you work pretty hard too, though.
We do. We work very hard. We start in the summer, go for 2 weeks of full practice in the summer, and then we go to 2 different camps. And then after the camps, we're done with official practice, but the boys are in the gym and the weight room probably 3 or 4 days a week in the summer. And I tell the guys it's hard to be an athlete. You know, a lot of people want to see the Friday nights and Tuesday nights when the crowd's there, but it's hard to come in there and work all day in the summer when it's hot and you could be out in the lake. But
Right.
Our boys, they really come in there and work in the summer, and that's the key to us winning, you know, year after year. And our younger boys feed off to what they do. So it's been a blessing, the kids I have that I get to coach. I mean, they are 100% behind the program and behind the school. So it's been great kids.
And having been a spectator and been out there, you got a good group behind you at the academy too.
Yeah, we have
parents support it pretty well.
The parents are, since that game Saturday night, I've had probably 15 parents call me just, you know, saying I'm sorry, and that's good knowing they're behind you. And win or lose, no matter, they know I love the kids and I'm going to do everything possible for their kids. They're behind us 100%. So.
Yeah. Well, now, what do you think in terms of what you're doing inspires these young men to assume leadership roles?
Well, we try to preach and tell the kids about responsibility. That's the number one thing they need to learn as they get older and get in life, and to be on time. That's the biggest thing I tell them, to make sure you're 10 minutes early wherever you go. When you get up later in life and get a job, if you're late, you may get fired. And so we preach, you know, that type of responsibility, and also hard work. If you go out there, everybody can go out there and practice for 2 hours and just go through the motions. And we could be a decent team, but we want to be a great team. And to be a great team, they got to come in there on their own outside of those 2 hours, come in the gym and shoot and work out weights on their own. And most of them do it now, so they've got the confidence of doing it. So the responsibility of showing that hard work, you know, it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah. Well, now we've only got about a minute to go now. Tell me, I can see your enthusiasm for what you do, but tell me why you love coaching and teaching young people.
Well, I love being with kids, and I love the game of basketball. But more important, I love seeing kids go from, you know, one step and work into a next step. And it's exciting seeing kids improve, and the excitement of kids when they do something right and they see they're getting better. That it's amazing to see kids get excited for what they do. And these kids at LaGrange Academy have been a blessing of what they do and growing to get better.
Well, Matt, it's been great to have you with us. Congratulations on such a great season. I know it was a little bit of a heartbreaker, but I can tell that you've taken it in the right way. It sounds like to me you're teaching some life lessons to these young people that they'll keep with them, and it'll help them in the long run.
It will. Thank you.
And we do consider you to be a community champion.
Thank you.
My guest has been Matt Dalrimple, the boys basketball coach at LaGrange Academy.